Alright, look. I won't waste your time with this one. No intro. WWF Summerslam 1993 is the very definition of skip-a-bowl. Not worth your time, very average show, very blah. Some solid matches, but overall it just left zero impact. It didn't do anything for anybody involved. And honestly, I kind of caught myself dozing off a couple of times throughout the show. I'm not saying the show itself overall is a horrible show. It's just there. You know, this is around the time when the WWF is going through a transitional period. 1993, Raw just appeared. It was the debut year for Monday Night Raw. But they lost so many big names. Hulk Hogan was no longer there. Ultimate Warrior was no longer there. Savage was there, but he wasn't wrestling as much. They were losing talent left and right. They're about to lose Mean Gene Okerlund and Bobby the Brain Heenan, because eventually they go to WCW around 1994-ish. And this was also the year of the steroid scandal. As you guys know, Vince McMahon went to trial for his uses of steroids, of wrestlers using steroids while wrestling. And we saw some wrestlers leave because of it. That includes Hulk Hogan. And of course, the Warlord and many others. You know, those big muscular guys who had no talent. Yeah, we stopped seeing those guys. Hallelujah. But as a result, the product suffered big time. You don't see as much star power as you would see in later years, but in previous years. It's a weird transitional period for WWE. But they get out of it. Eventually they get out of it. But for right now, all you got is Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Diesel, and Razor Ramon just got there. They're not stars yet. So, you got those two. And then you got the Lex Express. We're going to have a long talk about Lex Luger and this Lex Express run. But we'll get to that when we get to it. This is the 6th annual SummerSlam taking place, details by the way, going into details. And let's see, the Palace of Auburn Hills in Auburn Hills, Michigan. Attendance was 23,954. The date was August 30th, 1993. Runtime 2 hours and 45 minutes. Commentary, Vincent Kennedy McMahon and Bobby the Brain Heenan. And then the ring announcer, of course, is Howard the Fink. We open things up with a very average match between new talent, Razor Ramon, Scott Hall. You know, that guy right there. Hold on. See that guy right there? Yeah, that guy. He opened up SummerSlam 1993 against the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, who I think also will be leaving after this. Yep, a lot of them going to WCW very, very soon. But Razor Ramon ends up beating him. You gotta put over the new talent. Then we go into, the debut match for SummerSlam for the Steiner Brothers. Rick and Scott Steiner, before Scott Steiner became Big Pump a Pump. WWF Tag Team Championships. The Heavenly Bodies versus the Steiner Brothers. We also see Jim Cornette. This is Jim Cornette's debut for SummerSlam. And the Heavenly Bodies it was Tom Pritchard and Jimmy Del Rey. You know, they were a tag team. I don't know much about them. Solid match overall. Lots of cool spots. And it's always a joy to go back and watch old school Steiner Brothers. They were awesome. But they retained their tag team titles. And then we go into the WWF Intercontinental Championship match. Let me name you the people in this match. It is the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels. Before he became the big sensation that he eventually would become, he's still growing into the gimmick, but he's still the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels taking on Mr. Perfect. Yes, Mr. Perfect is just coming back from that supposed career-ending injury. But it's Mr. Perfect versus Shawn Michaels. I heard this match, and at first I'm thinking, why is nobody talking about this? This is This is a classic in the making. When you think Shawn Michaels in his prime versus Mr. Perfect in his prime, you think instant classic. And we didn't get that at all. This was nowhere close to a classic. There were a lot of slow moments. You can tell Perfect was not the same. And the match ends in a countout. HBK wins by countout when Diesel interfered. It was decent, but man, what the Shawn Michaels and Mr. Perfect. It was all about making Diesel look strong. Making Diesel look strong. Because eventually he would become a singles competitor and go after the WWF Championship. But that's neither here or there. We got Irwin R. Shyster, IRS, taking on 1-2-3 Kid, a.k.a. X-Pac, a.k.a. Sean Waltman. Solid match. 1-2-3 Kid recently debuted on an episode of Raw. I can speak English, I swear. On an episode of Raw and pinned Razor Ramon to the shock and awe of the audience. And he's been a star ever since. Didn't quite get the victory on RRS this time, but it was a solid match. If I'm not mistaken, he also leaves. Actually, they both leave. RRS and 1-2-3 Kid, but I think RRS leaves first, and then 1-2-3 Kid leaves after him. And then we got this craziness. So, that year, also in 1993, Bret Hart won the King of the Ring tournament for the first time. It was the very first King of the Ring pay-per-view. He wasn't the first King of the Ring, but he won a King of the Ring tournament at the King of the Ring pay-per-view. Bret, in an interview, noted that he was supposed to fight Hulk Hogan, brother, at SummerSlam and regain the belt, but Hogan pulled his politics and took the match away. And he leaves not too long after that. I have no idea if the story. I have no idea if that story is true. I'm just reading you what he said. Regardless, instead he was put in a feud with Jerry the King Lawler, one of the best heels in the wrestling business, as you would see in this match, who attacked him with, I don't know, it was like in a segment or something like that. All I know is he attacked Bret, and he did it because he thought he was the real king and Bret is an imposter. And so we have a feud for SummerSlam. And so the match scheduled was Bret versus Jerry the King Lawler. But Lawler came out on a crutch, said he injured himself during a car accident, and said he found a replacement. And that is Doink the Clown. Doink the Evil Clown. And they have a pretty average match. Pretty average. Which ends in a DQ after Lawler revealed he was faking and just wanted to get the one-up on Bret. So when Bret had the sharpshooter on Doink the Clown, Lawler stops faking his injury, gets in the ring with the crutch, and beats the living hell out of Bret. This makes President Jack Tunney come out and demand Lawler get inside the ring or be banned from WWF. And then we have the actual match. Bret Hart versus Jerry the King Lawler. And I loved it. I thought this was awesome. The match itself was solid overall, but I loved every single minute of this. This was great. You see Bret Hart just wailing on Lawler, showing that badass side of him, which is always great to see. And then he hooks in the sharpshooter on Lawler, makes him tap out, but he doesn't let it go. And then there's this whole drama after the match where Jack Tunney and officials are trying to get Bret to let go of the sharpshooter, but he just won't let it go because he hates Lawler's guts that much. And because of this, they reverse the decision and give Jerry the King Lawler the victory. So he becomes the official king of the WWF. What a heel! See, back then they actually booked heels pretty well. And all that craziness that I loved was basically erased with these next two matches. We got this guy named Ludwig Borga taking on Marty Jannetty. I don't care. Apparently he was supposed to be a foil for Lex Luger, and nobody gave a crap, so he beats Marty Jannetty. Squash match. And then we get this crappy, abysmal match. Rest in Peace match. Why was it called a Rest in Peace match? What was the stipulation? I'm not doing my research on this. It was stupid. A rematch from WrestleMania 9. One of the worst matches in history. The Undertaker versus Giant Gonzales. Why? Why is Giant Gonzales a thing? Taker, like he tried at WrestleMania, tried it here at SummerSlam, and it's just as bad. Giant Gonzales sucks. I don't care how many bells and whistles you throw his way. He doesn't work. And this was a horrible, abysmal match. My goodness. Why did you put Taker through this? Poor Taker. That year must have sucked for him working with Giant Gonzales. I wonder if he did an interview about this. I know he doesn't do interviews a lot, but I hope one day he gets asked about Giant Gonzales. I want to see what he says, because I'm pretty sure he wanted to punch holes through walls because of it. Yeah, screw Giant Gonzales. This match was awful. Horrible freaking match. Taker won at least, but screw this match. It was nice seeing Paul Bearer and Harvey Wippleman, but moving on to a tag match featuring the Smoking Guns. That's Bart and Billy Gunn before he became Badass Billy Gunn. And Tatanka taking on Bam Bam Bigelow and the Head Shrinkers, which is Samu and Fatu, who is Rikishi. You know, the father of the Usos. Solid match, good tag team action, Smoking Guns and Tatanka win. Woo! Alright, let's get into it. Before we talk about the main event, let's have a long discussion about the Lex Express. So, Lex Luger was supposed to be the replacement for Hulk Hogan when he left in 1993. That was the plan, and Vincent Kennedy McMahon was going to go through with it. He was adamant about Lex Luger being the next Hulk Hogan. And despite much fanfare on his arrival, it didn't work out. It didn't work out for him overall. And I think it's because, and I just gotta say it, look, Luger is a fine specimen. He had the body of a Greek god, which was awesome for a heel character. Like, to me, Luger's charisma shined as a heel. At least during that time, it was shining more as a heel than a babyface. And when he came in with that narcissist gimmick, I thought it was perfect for him. In terms of a mid-card performer, that's exactly where he needed to be. But when Hogan left and Vince wanted to get behind a guy that was from that WBF, or World Body Federation, that he tried to get off the ground, which was also freaking stupid. I didn't even talk about that. I'm not going to. It was dumb. But because he was a part of that, he tried to make him work as his new poster boy, and he had him do this thing called the Lex Express, where he would tour across the country on a bus to build anticipation and fanfare for his match against Yokozuna at Summerslam, which he actually did. This wasn't like some kind of a skit. No, he actually toured the country on a bus as Lex Luger. Now, did he ever go home? I don't know. But I can imagine that wearing and basically annoying the hell out of somebody. Like, you get tired of playing that character for a while and you need a break from it. So, yeah, he was all in with Lex Luger. They even had him body slam Yokozuna on an episode of, what was it, Saturday Night's Main Event or something like that, to really hype up his match at SummerSlam. So, they were going all in with it. Then we got to SummerSlam. And for some particular reason, just like Roman Reigns, here's an opportunity to go all the way and give Luger the belt. And he doesn't. He doesn't do it. What ends up happening here is Lex Luger does beat Yokozuna, but by countout. And then he celebrates like he won the title. We have the locker room empty. We have Macho Man Randy Savage, the Steiner Brothers, all the babyfaces, Tatanka, you name it, out there celebrating with him. And he beat Yokozuna, the evil guy who has been undefeatable since he lost to Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania. So they were going this route where, yeah, he didn't win the title, but he still won the match. So, yay, America. No. He lost his chance at winning the title. Why would you celebrate a count-out victory? Why would you be happy about that? This was stupid. This whole Lex Express booking was stupid. It was never going to work. Lex Luger just lacked the charisma and the connection to make this work. Lex Luger, at the time, should have stayed a heel because he was great as a heel. And the only time I felt he was even remotely serviceable as a babyface was during his run as part of the Impact. The Wolfpack. Was he on TNA, by the way? I think he was. Doesn't really matter. He's probably better on Impact than he was here anyways. Regardless, doesn't really matter. I meant to say Wolfpack. NWO Wolfpack. He was better in that, and you could even argue he was better when he first got to WCW and won the World Championship in 1996. Yeah, because that's when Hogan turned heel. Woo. So, yeah, brother. Lex Luger. A project that just did not work. By 1994, fans didn't even care about this guy. They were all behind one man, and that was Bret the Hitman Hart, who was involved in my favorite thing about this show with Jerry the King Lawler. And damn it, man. This was so dumb. But that's Vince McMahon for you. He was adamant about making Lex Luger his guy, and guess what happened? It failed. This entire show is skippable. Skippable. If you look up the definition of skippable, you see SummerSlam 1993 next to it. Skip this show. I'll see you in 1994 SummerSlam edition, which is next. That should be a lot better, hopefully. Thank you for watching. This is your boy, Lex Express signing off. Enjoy the review. I hope you enjoyed this review. Give me your thoughts down below. Peace out.